Hi guys, Team RC 3D Prints here, and in this video we're going to talk about buying one of these UDRs, a little bit of a buying guide for a second-hand one. Now hopefully you've looked at some of our videos and you've seen how much fun these trucks are, so we thought, well, let's tell people what to look out for, what to look for when you buy one of these second-hand. We've actually bought 3 of these second-hand now, and to be fair, they have all been pretty good buys, but there's a few things to watch out for. So if you watch this video, we'll run through some things to look at when you're going to buy one of these second-hand. So these trucks, brand new, depending on the country and depending what you get with them, but certainly with batteries and charger, you're looking probably just over £1,000, I think. Certainly that's what the price they are in the UK at the moment. But you can get some good deals second-hand. Fortunately, the parts for these are not too expensive, but obviously if you've got to put quite a few parts on, the money can add up. So the first things to look for is how old is the truck you might be buying. Well, from what we can work out, there's 3 different models, or there's 3 different variants of these trucks. Now, while generally the mechanics of them are all the same, it does obviously indicate which is the newer truck. Now, the first version of the trucks did not have any of the LED light bars, so it won't have any of these LED light bars on, so that's the oldest truck. Now, the second one has the addition of the light bars. You've got a light bar on the front there, and also one on the back here, and you can see them working in this little clip here. So that is the second version of the truck. And the third version is the same. It's got the light bars, but it doesn't have the 70-50 split, or 70-30 split I should say, on the transmitter. You can see a picture here of the slightly older one, which comes with the version 1 and 2, and the newer one without that split, which is the version 3. So if you can identify which version of the truck, it gives you an idea of the age. And as I say, mechanically we believe they're all the same. And while age is a good indication, I would still always go, I think, with a well-maintained older truck than a poorly maintained newer truck. And having said that, though, the main thing then is to decide what the actual condition of the truck is. I said the parts for these are quite cheap. Well, they are, except things like the body shell and the tyres, which are actually 2 of the things that probably get the most abuse. A body shell, I think I looked, is just over £100 in the UK, and a set of tyres is probably not going to be too dissimilar. So if you're looking at buying one of these trucks, see if you can get some good details. If you're buying it online, get some good detailed pictures of the body shell. The likely areas of damage, as you can see on R1 here, is around the front arch. Also where it mounts to the side of the car. We don't actually use these bolts. And again on the back, it mounts onto there. Usually not too much damage there, but you tend to get some damage around the back here. As you can see, ours is split on there. Some people you will see will put roof protectors on. We've got a 3D printed one here. We can supply 3D printed parts. Link below in the description for any 3D printed parts that you might like. And you can see we've got ours sitting on a nice, lovely 3D printed stand there. So that's something to look at. Get some good pictures and details of your body shell. And also see how well people have got it on and off the body shell. You have to just wiggle it around this front bar here, and you can see ours has got a little bit of damage there, but you can see some people, I've seen some people have really butchered the fronts of these shells. And the tyres, well, easiest way to see is how much wear have they got. New tyres should have about 5 to 6 mil tread depth. They do wear, so if there's very little tread on them, you know the truck has had quite a hard life. You also want to check if you've got the LED version, that the LEDs actually work. There is a high voltage adapter in the bowels of the truck there, but make sure, ask the questions, does the LED work on the truck if it's got LEDs on it. So here you can see we've got the LED controller unit in there, so you need that to make sure that the LEDs work. So that's just something to check on. Now, another thing to look at is the electrics on it. Now, they come as standard with a Traxxas ESC motor and receiver and servo. Not the most reliable of products, but it's a good indication now of how old your car is, because Traxxas are very good on their 12-month warranty. So if it has got a non-Traxxas electrics in it, it's a pretty good indication that the car is at least 12 months old, because there might have been a problem with it and the person has replaced it. Having said that, though, you can then get some good deals. If someone's got a hobby wing or something like that, they are better speed controllers. But the motors are pretty reliable, long as it works. Obviously, someone's selling one, need to make sure that it actually goes forward, backwards, stops, reverses and things like that. But that's quite a good indication. If you can have a look at the shock absorbers, and if you can feel them, make sure they're smooth, that there's no tight spots. If there's a tight spot, it indicates something is bent. Same thing on the rear. If you're looking at a truck before you buy it, the front diff will feel relatively tight, but it should feel smooth. And if you turn the rear wheels, assuming these have a locked axle, and assuming your one that you're buying is not upgraded with a diff in it, you turn it, and it'll be quite noisy, but it should feel smooth. It should feel smooth when you turn it over. Now, a good indicator for how much wear this truck has got are these drive shaft cups. I don't know if you can see it in there, but it's where this drive shaft goes into the diff. If there's a pit, if there's a divot, groove, or whatever in that drive shaft cup, it means it's had quite a lot of wear. There's a picture here of one we took off one of our trucks, and you can see it's got that wear in it. So that's where there's been quite a lot of use of the truck, and it has worn away the drive cup. So if you can look at that or get a picture of that on your car that you might be buying, if that's got those marks on it, means it's been used quite a lot. Quite a cheap fix, but it indicates that the truck has had quite a bit of wear and use. Now, one of the areas that takes a lot of abuse on this car is the rear drivetrain and the prop shaft. If you can, see if you've got any wear in this prop shaft. You may hear a slight squeak when you turn the transmission over. This is a standard one. If it's any different to this, it will be upgraded, which is potentially a good thing because someone has spent some money on it, but again, it obviously indicates that they may have already gone through and used up the original. Similarly, you can get skid plates which go on here. You'll see we've got one on the main part of the car here, which just helps to protect it. And again, if you can see the front arms, how much wear is on the front arms, you can see this truck has been used quite a lot. Again, if you're getting it at a good price, not necessarily a big problem, because the gears on the car, I think it's about £10 to £12 for a set of rear gears. Again, the front arms are not particularly expensive, but if you've got to start replacing a lot of products or a lot of items, it can start to add up. But you can get a good idea of the overall condition of the truck and the overall maintenance. You know, what maintenance have people given the truck. One of the areas which is always worth upgrading is these rear upper control arms. The standard ones of these are very weak, and if it has got the standard ones on, they've got a slight bend in them. That's one thing I wouldn't worry about. I would just take them off and put new ones on. Similarly, as standard, they come with brake discs. This one hasn't got them on, but they have like a brake disc and like a caliper on. Again, not something I really like, so if they're not on the car, I wouldn't worry. I think you can see it on our front of the car here. We have actually still got some on the front, but if they're on there, then great. If not, it's something that I wouldn't worry about. It's more of an aesthetics part. And the other thing to be aware of is this truck comes quite usefully with 2 new spare rear tyres on. When you buy this truck new, you actually get 6 tyres with it. So how worn are the rear tyres? Are there any rear spare tyres on it? This one, they've been used a little bit, but there's still plenty of life in them. So if you've got 2 rear tyres that are completely bald, you know the person has swapped the new ones on and put them on the car, probably on the rear, because they wear more than the fronts. And you'll know the truck has had more use. Similarly, you've got all little fire extinguisher parts and some fake fans and things, which I just take off them, or we just take off them, but some people leave them on. But along here, there is actually a spare centre drive shaft. So if you've got that on it, that means, you know, it hasn't been used, but it's worth just checking to see that that is on there or not on there. That just gives you a bit of a bargaining chip. So I hope that's been a little bit of a whistle-stop tour of the trucks, what to be aware of. Obviously, the main thing is if you're buying one, make sure it works. If you're going to look at it in person, check it works. Does it go forward smoothly, reverse smoothly? Does the steering work smoothly? It should all be smooth. It is a little bit of a noisy truck, but it should all be smooth. Similarly, if you're buying it on the internet, off eBay or Facebook or any other marketplace, then ask the questions. You know, you can right well within your rights to ask, you know, are the diffs smooth? Is everything working okay? So when it turns up and there is a problem, then you do have some redress. You can go back to the person. Upgrades, well, you know, some people throw a lot of aluminium parts on these. it does make them worth a little bit more, but in our opinion they're actually a bit of a false economy, because you can put aluminium front arms on it, you can put aluminium rear axles on it, pretty much aluminium everything, but it makes it quite heavy. And again, you can put alloy wheels on it. We have got some alloy wheels, we've done a test on them, we're not over impressed with them. But I hope that gives a little bit of a flavour of what to expect if you're going to buy one of these second hand. If you are, great investment, brilliant cars. If you want any more information, leave a comment, and please do like, share and subscribe the video. Thanks for watching.